What's going on, guys? We got Flint, Michigan's own Claressa Shields coming back to fight. Before I get into that, hit the thumbs up, hit the sub, hit the bell. You know what to do. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So Shields has got a fight coming up on March 5th. It's going to be an all-female pay-per-view card. So I'm interested to see how good it's going to do. It's going to be in her hometown of Flint, Michigan, I believe, from what I was reading. And she's fighting an undefeated fighter who's 17-0 from Canada named Marie-Eve. Her last name, I'm going to mess it up. Dicaire, I believe is her name, but I'm not positive I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyways, the girl is 17-0 and she has 0 knockouts. Her and Shields are the same height at 5'8". Now here's the question mark, the dispute over Shields' height. I know if you go on Wikipedia, it'll say she's 5'10". If you go on Boxing Rec, it'll say she's 5'8". So let's just call Shields 5'9" and meet in the middle. I don't actually know how tall she is because I've never had her in front of my face to see if she sees eye to eye to me or if she's shorter than me. So again, let's just say Shields has maybe got an inch height advantage. I think it's a good fight because you got a girl who's got more fights than Shields. Shields, I believe, only has 10 fights that she's won, undefeated, by the way, with 2 knockouts. And this girl's got 17 fights with 0 knockouts. So you can imagine that this fight is probably more than likely going to go the distance. Now, I will say this with the females. I will give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to knockouts because they do have shorter rounds. They only fight 2-minute rounds. So, again, you do have knockout artists like Layla Ali, who Shields was going to fight. You have people like Lucia Riker that was knocking girls out, but they're rare. Female knockouts are more rare than they are common. So I don't really hold that against either one of these girls just because their time is shortened to 2 minutes versus 3 minutes. So overall, I think that this will go to decision, but it's going to be more of a who's the better boxer. Now, with both girls being right around the same height, we're going to see how good Shields actually is against boxing Marie, because I wouldn't say Marie is Shields' hardest test because I think Hannah Gabriel probably was, and it was a close fight between the two. But again, I think that this will test Claressa's boxing abilities. The only thing that worries me about Claressa is she has been split between boxing and MMA. So we're going to see if that splitting up her focus is a negative to her boxing because, you know, although she is good at her hands, we've seen too many times people get ring rusted when they step away from the sport of boxing or any sport of fighting at that, whether it be Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, it doesn't matter. For whatever reason, when you step away from combat sports and you don't do it consistently, you can see the ring rust pile on very quickly. And with her spreading out her focus between wrestling, kicking, or I should say grappling, kicking, you know, being able to guard from it and all that, I'm interested to see if it's going to have a negative effect on her boxing abilities, being that she would not be able to box as much. Now, maybe because this fight is signed, she'll quit all that and just go 100% back into boxing, but I don't know. So, again, I think that's a very good if factor for her, or if factor for her, I should say, to see if it's had an impact on her or not. I don't think it will come fight night, but it is something to look out for if she doesn't look at her best. Now, this fight, again, is between 2 undefeated fighters, so I can't say anything negative about it. But I think a lot of people out there want to see the Savannah Marshall and Claressa Shields fight. I think that's really the fight to be made. And the only reason why I say that is because they have a history in the amateurs, and Shields actually lost to Hannah Gabriel. Why am I talking about Hannah Gabriel? To Savannah Marshall. So I think that it would make for a good I'm better than you story if Shields went out there and beat Savannah Marshall to avenge her, I believe, only amateur loss. I think that's the only girl to ever beat her. And being that they're both pro now, I think it would be really good on Clarissa's resume to come back and beat that girl who beat her in the amateurs. Be very impressive, especially since she considers herself the GWOAT. So let me know what y'all think about this fight. I think overall it's a good fight. The one negative I could see for Marie is that she's older. She's 34 years old. So I don't know if that age is going to come into effect against Shields. But overall, I mean, the girl, she's had pretty good competition who she's fought. It's not like she's had a bunch of girls who are 0-3, 0-2. She's had some legit challengers in the female division against her. So she's seasoned. So this isn't a gimme fight. This is actually a live dog in there against her. And again, I'm curious to see how Shields looks because she's been out of the ring for a while. And yeah, I mean, that's I don't really have much more to say about it than that. I think it's a good fight. I think it should do good, and I'm interested. I'll probably end up buying the fight more than likely. No, I won't say probably. I will end up buying the fight because I'm really interested in Shields. I want to say this before I get off. The reason why my mindset has turned towards Shields is because Shields is about to do something that no boxer will dare to do. She's about to step into the octagon and fight MMA fighters at their own game. Now, I know Holly Holmes did it, but she wasn't really a current boxer. And when she went over to MMA, she was pretty much already done with boxing. So Holly was at the end of her career, the twilights of her career, when she went into MMA, whereas Claressa is at I don't even know if you could say she's at the peak of the pinnacle of her career because she's just getting better and better with each fight, in my opinion. So to see somebody who's young, prime, boxer, a top-tier boxer going over to the MMA world is very impressive because most of these boxers want the MMA fighters to come fight them the way they fight. And let's be real. MMA fighters have little to no chance in a boxing ring. When you put a boxer into an octagon, you don't take any of their tools away from them. They have 100% of their tools. Whereas when you take the MMA fighter, you put them in the boxing ring, you take away 90% of their tools. So, I mean, that's why I've come around and actually admire what Claressa Shields is doing as long as she goes through and does it because she's showing more heart than her counterpart male boxers by doing that. Again, let me know what y'all think in the comments section.